everyone, welcome back to Novel Hour, or weekly lunchtime show where we gather here every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Now, today is super exciting because we're going to be sharing some locked room mysteries. So, if you're looking for some exciting puzzles to solve in literature, we have you covered. I will be sharing locked room mysteries set in a specific location, like a house, a castle. Laura is going to be sharing those set on trains, and Francesca will be sharing young adult locked room mysteries. So lots of variety for you to look forward to. And if you're looking for even more recommendations, we will be sharing an extra book over on Substack Live. So it's going to be the after show. So after we end the live here, jump on over to Substack for more recommendations. Okay, so I'm going to get started with the recommendations. So as per usual, we kick off Laura and Francesca, and we're going to get into the books. So getting into locked room mysteries, the first thing I want to say is locked room mysteries are really fun to read. They keep you on the edge of the seat. You're trying to solve a puzzle as you're going along, unexpected twist, fun characters. There's just always something to look forward to. But I feel like we can't have a locked room mystery conversation without talking about the classic of all classics. And of course, I'm talking about Agatha Christie. I think when it comes to mysteries, all roads will forever lead back to Christie. And I have to talk about her iconic "And Then They Were None" classic locked room mystery situation. So in this novel, in case you're not familiar, 10 strangers are lured to a secluded island. Each of them have a hidden past and, baggage they're carrying, and one by one they start disappearing. That is the genius, I feel, at the core of the novel, is just the setting and getting them, away from their homes, and then people start disappearing. So here's the thing. The folks that are invited to this island, they're invited under false pretenses. And then there's a mysterious voice. I don't want to spoil it too much telling you, because there's some elements that are part of the mystery solving as well. But just to know, each person is being accused of a past crime. So we see the tension starting to skyrocket because their darkest secrets are coming out, okay? And no one wants their secrets out in the light. So anyways, that's the setting. And what I think Christie does really well is the atmosphere. She just really covers you thick in suspense and also paranoia, because again, every character has something to hide. So by the end, you're wondering, because you're left with pieces of clues here, pieces of clues there, and you're trying to figure, okay, one, who brought us here, but also who is killing everyone off. So the finale is shocking, again, iconic, classic. If you are a mystery reader and lover, you have to read this one. Just seeing how each character confronts their past, confronts their guilt, the psychological unraveling is unreal. And I think if you haven't read this book yet, but once you've read it, I think you'll realize lots of the modern locked room mysteries are influenced by Agatha Christie, because again, she's queen, icon, legend. Speaking of which, the next locked room mystery I want to share with you, I feel, is a direct take from And There Were None, and it's They All Fall Down by Rachel Housel Hall. Now, this is a modern take, and I feel a modern take from And Then There Were None. So we have a tight-knit circle of friends, but the book centers on one character. Her name is Cassie. She's in a very vulnerable space right now, and her world is really turned upside down when someone close to her betrays her. But that betrayal triggers like a domino effect, and we see lots of secrets being exposed. We also have her best friend involved in the story as well, and her partner, Marcus. So they're all carrying hidden secrets as well. Now, what I think this novel does really brilliantly is the fact that how one lie, just one single thing, can unravel other secrets, other lies, but also the deep bonds people have with each other. So it's not just a puzzle about the crime, because you find more often than not with these books, it's not just about the crime itself, it's the psychology of the people. And there's lots of betrayal in this one, and then the consequences that ripple through all the other relationships. So in They All Fall Down, we're going to follow Cassie, see her navigating the fallout, questioning everything she thought she knew about her friends and those close to her. She's questioning herself. And I feel like she's a relatable character. And, it's going to make you question even the relationships in your life. But anyway, it's a very well done novel, I feel, and a modern take on And Then There Were None. Okay, my next selection is going to be, I'm going to say, a tad controversial, just because I remember when this book was released and I read it shortly after release date, and folks were split on whether they liked this book or they hated this book. I'm just going to say, now I am team, I love this book. But before I get into what it's about, I just want to say a disclaimer. This is for the literary mystery lovers. We have a mystery, we have a plot, but there's lots of interiority as well. I know some people found the puzzle confusing, but for me, it was great. I loved it. Zero notes. I enjoyed it. So anyway, it's a mind-bending locked room mystery and puzzle. The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. Again, if you're cool with that, I think it's a must read. So we have our main character or protagonist. His name is Aidan Bishop. Now, he finds himself trapped in some sort of a time loop, and he's reliving the same day over and over again. The difference is every morning he wakes up, he's waking up in a different body, in a different persona, because he's at a castle. There was this party, and then there was this murder. So he's trying to solve the murder of Evelyn Hardcastle. So with the backdrop of a lavish estate, which is a bit eerie and a bit odd, we have a murder occurring and someone who every time he goes to bed, he wakes up, he's in a different person's body. So he's trying to solve the puzzle and solve the murder mystery of who killed Evelyn Hardcastle. But every time he inhabits a different body and a different space, things start to shift. Because with each person, so for example, he's in body A and he's suspecting body B. But when he gets in body B, he realizes what that person, seeing things from that person's point of view. So it completely it unravels everything he initially thought. So that's the thing. Every minute you're seeing new clues, your perspectives are shifting, and it just will force you to reevaluate everything you thought you knew. I think it's full of twists, and it's just very detailed to the point where, yes, you're going to be paying attention. Your mind is going to be racing and you're going to try to piece it together. Now, the thing is, if he figures out, who done it, then he doesn't have to be doing this cycle all again. But anyway, as always, like I said, it's not just about cracking the case and cracking the mystery. It's a journey of self-discovery, because with every new identity, again, new layers, new secrets, he's even finding out things about himself. So it's a very wild ride. I think it will challenge more than anything your assumptions, which again is very popular in mysteries, specifically locked room mysteries. So there you have it, 3 locked room mysteries that bring, I feel, something unique. We have And Then There Were None, which is just, classic, 10 out of 10, zero notes, a modern take on And Then There Were None, in my opinion. In They All Fall Down, because that one tackles the modern consequences of betrayal and breaking of trust. And then the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which is mind-bending, time loop, there's a puzzle, inhabiting different bodies, and it really makes you think outside of the box. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have any locked room mystery recommendations, I'd love to hear from you. But of course, I want to hear from my friends. I want to hear what they think about my selections.
And Then There Were None is always, always, always the classic. I have reread that book so many times. I love it so hard.
Same. I love that book down. Again, Agatha
Yes.
Christie, queen, icon, legend. She can do no wrong. And again, when you read it, you'll realize all mysteries, I feel, kind of take influence from it in a weird way.
I will point out, though, that she can do wrong, because there's a
No.
lot of horrible things about how that book came to be and what was
Yes.
original. I just got to point that out. Also,
Yes.
there is a TV adaptation, which I do recommend as well.
Okay.
So
I haven't
a
watched
little
it.
mini series or something.
Yes.
It's worth a watch.
Listen, I find a lot of them authors from back in the day hella problematic, but the work, the work is good. Okay, the work, but problematic, hella problematic.
We got to the place we needed to get, but who?
Rough. Okay, so Laura is going to be sharing the trains, which I'm really excited about. So let's get into those recommendations.
So I have three recommendations, and they're all based on Murder on the Orient Express. Because again, Agatha Christie and locker room mysteries are the part of it. They also take on There Were and Then There Were None, based on some of the feedback and some of my experience. But I haven't read the original, so actually, I'm gonna go on the Agatha Christie journey. Thanks to Victoria, she has given me a syllabus of books to read. So the first one is With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. This doesn't come out until the summer. But I have to tell you, if you're familiar with Riley Sager, he writes a lot of thrillers, psychological thrillers, a little bit of everything. So there's Final Girls, there's one about the summer camp, the lake, and then there's and only one in the house. There's like a house one, like the lovely houses, and we're trying to figure out. But this one is more of a suspense. It's more like mystery suspense. It's not as thriller as the other books that he has. So With a Vengeance, basically Anna is set in 1954. The main character, Anna, her family has gone to ruin. And so she decided to invite all the people to a train traveling from Philadelphia to Chicago, and to try to extract the reasons why they're ruined and get the stuff, and so they can get arrested once they arrive. Well, the problem is there's a killer on the loose and people are starting to die. And so she has to outwit the killer and try to figure out how to get away with this. She gets her plan of revenge as well as her staying alive. So it's a pretty suspenseful book. It is not a thriller. There are some twists and turns as you expect for Riley Sager, but it is not a psychological thriller. I think this is more a mystery. It's more in the vein of the Agatha Christie's of the world. So this is set on a train in Chicago to Philadelphia. No, Philadelphia to Chicago. So you get this whole American train experience. But now let's go to the Mediterranean. So the next book is The Main Characters by Jacqueline Goldis. This came out last year. So in this one, there's this famous thriller author that she based her thrillers based on real people. And so her new subject, Rory, it got invited. She's going to get paid handsomely so she can actually be the main character of this book. And so the author didn't tell her when she was going to write the book, what's going to happen, all the different things. She just invites Rory to go on a train from the Mediterranean coast, like take a trip. She's down her luck, take a trip to Mediterranean and like I think in Italy. And lo and behold, on the train, when she comes in, her brother, her best friend, and her ex-fiance are in the train, and everyone has a secret, and so the story unravels from there. So you're just trying to lock in this train, right? That you're just trying to figure out, and all these characters that have some loose connection, and you're trying to figure out who is doing what and what's the reality. As the author is someone puppeteering the scheme of the story of like the thriller. So more reveal, there's spoilers, there's twists and turns, but this is a good one if you like to think about travel to Italy and just think about yourself in the Orient Express. So that's Main Characters by Jacqueline Goldis. And then we have Everyone on the Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. Benjamin Stevenson has a couple of mysteries set, very like mystery set. I think one is about the family, and then this one's about trains. So this one's a thriller author, like I think a crime, like a thriller, like a mystery author. And there's a bunch of authors in this train, and someone dies, and all the authors who have like some experiences with crime are suspects, and we're trying to figure out who killed who and what happened. This is more a mystery humor, like it gives you whodunit, kind of like it's not a cozy mystery, but it's like a mystery to deal with. So if you're looking for a palate cleanser, if you're looking for something just a good escape, this book is great. This book is great on audio, so that's another opportunity to do, and you should be able to borrow them from the library. So those are my recommendations.
I love it. I read all three. So I endorse all three recommendations. I'm just going to say for the Benjamin Stevenson, it's Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone or something like that, but It's so good. That was the first one. And then the train one is great. It definitely gives Agatha Christie vibe. So you're right. It's not really cozy, but yeah, it kind of does that. What do you think, Fran?
Yeah, I actually really want to read the Jacqueline Goldis because it sounds really
It's good.
sounds messy.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna be the star of this book, and then all these people are showing up to the train, and I have no idea why they're showing up to the train. My ex-fiance, my best friend, and my brother. Like, what is the story here?
Oh my gosh.
So
So
funny.
we have some comments. Erin, okay, clearly friend of the live now. You've earned the title friend of the live.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, friend of the live. So Erin, friend of the live, says, ooh, my favorite trope since I read Pose, the murder in the Rue Morgue as a kid. Listen, that's another one I feel icon legend. But this is how I'm like, yes, Erin is a friend. Erin said, okay, I quite liked Evelyn Hardcastle. So let me just get that cover up there for folks. If you're just joining us, you might have missed it, but I shared the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle as a recommendation. And I'm telling you, people were coming for that book. Okay, Erin, they were coming for the book. They either really liked it, like me, or they didn't care for it. They're like, oh, it was awful. But I'm glad you appreciated it. I have since read everything Stuart Turton has written. Last year he had another mystery because before that he had like a historical mystery, The Devil in the Dark Water. The last year one is more about AI. I will say Evelyn Hardcastle is my number 2 favorite by that author. Number 1 is The Devil and the Dark Water. I read that in under 72 hours because I couldn't stop reading. So The Devil and the Dark Water is number 1, but Evelyn Hardcastle is like right. It's like 1.5. It's not really a 2 because I love that one too. Last year it was good. It was good, but the AI thing, I get it's not for everybody, but that's my take on that author. Erin also shared another recommendation. Is Snowblind by Ragnar Jonasson is another good locked room. Snowblind by Ragnar Jonasson. Do we know this one? Anyone?
I
I
don't
have
know,
not
but
read
I'm
that.
adding it.
Okay, so I will be searching for this one while Francesca shares her recommendations because now we're going to get some young adult books.
Yeah, so I'm actually sharing young adult locked room mysteries because I wanted something a little bit more fun. I kind of consider these great beach reads or summer reads, but they're also really great transition reads for now. So if you want something that's going to lift up your mood, I know it's murder, but murder can be uplifting, right? At least for me, it is. So I'm going to start with Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. So the setup with this one is there's a decades old cold case. It's set at a prestigious elite like boarding school for gifted children, and there's a killer that comes back. So if you love true crime, especially like how we discover true crime now, where there's all this social media craze and everybody goes investigating at the same time, so if you're into that, I think this is a great book to read. It's actually a whole series, and you kind of do have to read the other books. But so basically, this is set at an elite boarding school for gifted children. This boarding school was founded by this tycoon and very wealthy man. And so what he wanted to create was like that learning had to be like a game, basically. But not too long after the boarding school opened, his wife and daughter were kidnapped, and the only clue that was left behind was a note that was signed Truly Devious, and there was a riddle on it. And it's a cold case. It's never been solved. And now Stevie, our heroine in this book, is a teenager, and she is obsessed with true crime. So she's determined when she enrolls at the boarding school that she's going to be the one that solves this decades old investigation or whatever, cold case. So she gets there, she starts investigating, and there's another murder that happens, which is again truly devious. So the murderer is back, and of course she has to deal with that while trying to solve the murder. Now, the book does not give you a resolution, so you're not going to get the end of the story with book one, so you do have to continue with the series. But if you are, like I said, into true crime, like that modern take of it, how we're all obsessed with true crime podcasts, and if you're on the side of TikTok that's like obsessed with solving true crime and like everybody's piecing the clues together, making videos like that kind of sleuthing, then I think you're really going to enjoy this one. It's got still also like the classic detective novel vibes as well. So I think you're really going to enjoy it. There might be a little bit of a slow burn woven in as well with the mystery. So, but you do need to go into book two because there is a cliffhanger. Now, with the second book that I'm going to be talking about is what I consider kind of a classic of the young adult locked room mysteries is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. So the setup with this one is there's 5 students that walk into detention and only 4 make it out alive, basically. So it's basically one of the most popular, I would say, young adult thrillers. And it's kind of like Breakfast Club meets Pretty Little Liars, but with murder. So we have 5 very different kind of students in this detention. There's the brain, the beauty, the jock, the criminal, and the outcast. And they're stuck together in detention. And then Simon, the outcast, who happens to also be kind of like sharing secrets of other students and stuff, like he's not liked, let's say. And he ends up dead. And as they're investigating all the other ones, they kind of had a reason to kill him as well. So they go in this investigation, more secrets come out and all of that. So it's got lots of high school drama, and the characters kind of have to clear their name as well. So it's going to definitely keep you guessing. So it's a super fun one to read if you're really want to go through like finding the clues and that kind of stuff. And then the third book that I have for you guys, it's actually one that just came out last year, and it's a maritime mystery, which I always find really, really fun and enjoyable. And it's Seasick by Kristen Cast and Pintip Dunn. So the setup here is that this is set at a luxury yacht, middle of the ocean. Killer is on board, and there's 2 former friends that have to reunite, work together in order to make it out alive. So the 2 ex-best friends, Naya and Yana, are invited on this exclusive yacht trip to Bermuda. And that is because they were just kind of inducted in this society for like, they just qualified basically for this like society of graduates, and that's going to afford them lots of opportunities in their future. So they're very excited about it. Their peers kind of, well, let's just say there's some microaggressions and stuff like that towards them, but they're still very excited for the opportunity that this is going to give them. And they go on this celebratory yacht trip to the Bermudas. And of course, as things would happen, there's a student that turns up dead while they're in the middle of the ocean. So now they're trapped in the middle of the ocean. And again, they were ex-best friends, so they weren't really on good terms. And they have to work together in order to survive because, you know, you can't really trust anyone. It's very like high stakes, lots of like claustrophobic vibes and setting. I mean, isolated to the max because they are stuck in the middle of the ocean. There's nowhere to run. I think it's a great book to read if you like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So definitely a good one to add to your list if that's your vibe. And again, I just really enjoy maritime mysteries and kind of like how Ruth Ware, The Woman in Cabin 10, and that kind of stuff. So those are my recommendations, a little bit of everything, but I always find young adult thrillers to be fun. I don't know. I mean, murder can be fun.
Of course, murder can be fun.
Yes.
Yes.
And lighthearted. Murder can be fun and lighthearted.
Yes.
So I have to say, Seasick is like, I'm excited for it. I need like more boating. Like for some reason, I'm like,
It's literally like
give me that. It's like Below Deck in a locked door mystery. I'm like, yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah. And I mean, if you've read Kristen Cast, she usually writes with her mom, PC Cast, and like they do like paranormal. So like the big series that they had was the House of Night series.
Yeah.
It's very young, that one. But if you like that kind of vibe of like high school messiness,
yes, Oh, I'm here.
You'll enjoy it.
That is awesome. I read Truly Devious and the whole series. I co-sign it. It's fun. It's lots of fun. I love young adult books. They're
Yes.
really interesting. So Erin, who had recommended Snowblind before, followed up to say it's Icelandic. And during Fran sharing her books, I found it. So yes, it's a Dark Iceland series. The first one is Snowblind, but then we have Nightblind, Blackout, Rupture, Whiteout, Winterkill. So that's what now? 6 books. Yes. So if you're looking for something to cozy up with, okay, this looks like a series that you can go down the rabbit hole, especially when you start with book 1. So
And I think it's perfect for the winter because it's like snow.
Yeah.
It's snow Icelandy, so it's probably dark. It's not, you know, moody and everything, unlike our weather right now.
Yeah.
yeah. We have sunshine, but we have
Me
some
too.
chills because it's been raining and it's been a little chilly.
It's been
So,
gloomy.
It's been
Yeah.
cold.
yeah.
And I understand it's relative. I understand
Yes.
everyone's
Yes.
colder than us, but it is cold for us. So
Yes, yes. Okay, so again, if you're just joining us, welcome. We just shared some amazing locked room mysteries, different categories, different feels, different vibes. We even had Erin sharing a recommendation as well. If you have a locked room mystery recommendation that you'd like to share, feel free to leave it in the comments. If you're watching the replay crew, we'd love to hear from you as well. And we're heading over to Substack for an after show after we finish the live here. But before we go, housekeeping. So we have, let me switch this out. There we go. We have spring reading that we will be sharing next week. Okay. Yes, we're just talking about winter and it being chilly and everything. Spring is on the horizon, and we want to share some recommendations and some things to kind of get you prepared and ready. I shared with the girls a spring reading guide cover. Okay, so you have that to look forward to as well. So stay tuned. What else is going on? Just stay tuned to the next show. Again, we gather every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern time. So just mark your calendars every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time. Trust me, if we're out of town, we will pre-record something for you. We are always here. Even the week of Christmas, we had something live. New Year's, we had something live. There's always something going on. Am I forgetting anything?
No.
No, I don't think so. So join us on Substack. Again, there's a link in the video's description to join us over on Substack. We'll see you there because we'll be sharing extra locked room recommendations. All righty, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
bye.